I'm Blizzard Planet. This is Self-Friendship Podcast, where playfulness meets societal reflection. Through the lens of self-friendship, embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves, I hopefully inspire you to critically think, creatively think, and optimistically approach life. Imagine this. You hopped on the band rocket, and now you're on Planit Butter, a world made of delicious, sparkly peanut butter, and an adorable disco ball of self-reflection is whirling around in her transforming convertible. Thanks for joining me in my 40th episode, where I'll be sharing my answer to last week's question, a note on authenticity, a new affirmation, a party of one, my ode to never settling featuring bolognese, why conditioning is hypnosis, self-preservation and evolution, a tip to being an active listener, a perspective dance with social media, and so much more. And, as always, a brand new question at the end for all of us to self-reflect and self-connect. And email me if you desire, selfriendshippodcast@gmail.com. My answer to last week's question of the week, which was, does this risk look cool to me on paper? Last week on episode 39, I told you guys how to get yourself to take more risks. I also told you I would offer more context for you with this question, and I will not disappoint. The most recent Blizzard's Dictionary term, exclusively on the Planit Butter publication, link in the show notes, is the delightful term riskidance. It's an adjective defined as an absolute trust in one's own abilities in uncertain situations. The exclusive part is on the publication. The words are a free-for-all. To further quote myself, it's not a risk when It's not a risk when you're betting on yourself and self-friendship is your first priority. It's riskidance. And it's a victorious cycle. The best way to affirm if a risk we encounter is one we want to take, even after already knowing we've honored the 3 core methods, boundaries, confidence, alignment, is to ask ourselves, by my own metrics of what's cool, does this decision look cool on paper to me in 5 years or less? As in, if any ounce of you is at all falling for the societally induced fear-based conditioning crap that unequivocally believing in yourself is a risk, does future you, who pulls it off because you practice self-friendship, think this risk is really fucking cool? Is it a good fucking story for future you to admire present you for committing to? If it looks cool to future you, do it. If it looks fucking insane, do it. If it feels in your body like only the best, most amazing Planit Butter jet is parking on the helipad outside your patio overlooking the ocean, partially because of this risk, do it. If it looks not cool, circle back to the 3 core methods and ensure that they're actually being honored, because our boundaries, confidence, and alignment would not steer us to something we deem uncool. These methods solely exist to fuel us to consciously create our world. It wasn't meant to be my middle finger, but that means to you, it's the coolest because it's your world and you're living in it. To me, Planit Butter is the coolest. I am the coolest. And I'm a fucking genius. That's my answer to last week's question. All right. Email me yours, selfriendshippodcast@gmail.com. Now, a note on authenticity. When we sense someone else being authentic, it's usually because they are super connected to themselves. When we sense someone to be a little not authentic, they simply won't have that same degree of warmth. When we all prioritize self-friendship, embracing, understanding, and enjoying ourselves, we're subconsciously creating a more genuine, open, and understanding humanity. Now, a new affirmation. Listen with love. It's a long one. I take unique, spontaneous action within my consistent actions to welcome flexibility, adaptability, and innovation in my efforts toward my purposeful and growth oriented life of self friendship. Again, I take unique, spontaneous action within my consistent actions to welcome flexibility, adaptability, and innovation in my efforts toward my purposeful and growth oriented life of self friendship. Okay, now a party of one. As a loving reminder, party of one means having fun with oneself, for oneself, as oneself. Anywhere, everywhere, no matter who's there. We become our party of one by consistently practicing self-friendship. Each episode, I share little tidbits from my life that happened thanks to me showing up in the world as my party of one. I went to a Kundalini activation for the first time the other day. I've done Kundalini yoga before, many times, which I absolutely love because it's like breath work mixed with yoga and it's really challenging. And I reach such an elevated vibration. It's like getting high on your own supply. The Kundalini activation was super different. This was really interesting. A space was created for everybody to meditate together and then essentially surface and release suppressed emotions as well as any life experiences that needed to be acknowledged. Side note, in episode 39, I share why suppression is a disease. So, the Kundalini activation was executed with music playing and everyone making animalistic noises and whatever movements called to them while laying down. It's super interesting. My eyes were closed and I was having my own little boogie in my party of one ways. Because I practice self-friendship, I had an abundance of love to give to myself and to the room. I also had the opportunity to really integrate my self-friendship techniques of not taking on other people's energy or emotions as the incredibly sensitive human being that I am. Being in a small group of people like that, where everyone's vibe is all over the place and emotions are really out in the open, it's by default heightened susceptibility to absorbing these energies. So I was literally building my energy vortex around myself with my arms moving in a figure eight. I just made it up. It's what felt right in the tune of the music that was playing while in my mind, I was reminding myself that I was meant to be there. But these emotions and this energy is not mine. This allowed me to remain grounded in myself, my party of one. Having fun with myself, for myself, as myself, anywhere, everywhere, no matter how many chaotic and emotional people are there. That is not to discount their experiences. It is a lighthearted joke. Point is, I felt like I was intended to be a loving energy in the room, which is really fucking cool. Party of one. Okay. My ode to never settling, featuring bolognese. I love bolognese. Never settling while remaining solution-oriented and optimistic are key to a strong self-friendship practice. The other night, I was craving bolognese. Now, I'm in Bali, so it's simply not going to be that great, but it will be satisfying. Plus, I like healthy versions of my favorite comfort foods. So the one little healthy spot that I know of that has bolognese was completely out of meat. Not cool. However, in being solution oriented and optimistic, I put my little thinking cap on. Side note, I actually own a baseball hat that says thinking cap. My dad got it for me. It's awesome and currently in storage. Okay, so I knew what I wanted and I did not settle. I went to my go-to cafe where I can build my own plate, and I created bolognese out of their plain burger patty, mashed it up, fresh tomato sauce, and quinoa pasta. Yes, that's essentially all bolognese is. Again, this was a game of satisfaction, not the best bolognese of all time. Solutions, not settling, optimism, and a very happy belly. Why conditioning is hypnosis. In episode 39, I discuss how you're not lost, you're conditioned. I want to add to that by sharing that conditioning is essentially hypnosis. Hypnosis is defined as when a person apparently loses the power of voluntary action and is highly responsive to suggestion or direction. This is essentially what is happening to humans during childhood. We don't have a ton of voluntary action, and we are highly responsive to suggestions and directions because we're told we need to listen to authority figures. That was not my strong suit, but that's stories for another time. Sorry, everybody. Okay, nonetheless, we're raised, or rather hypnotized, by parents, caregivers, teachers, and other societal people. Like, I wasn't raised in New York City, I was hypnotized in New York City. If we just marinate on that for a bit, I think it can further invite new layers of understanding of our own upbringing, or rather, our most hypnotic years. Let me know what you think. All right, self-preservation and evolution. This is a little bit of a paradox. We need to preserve ourselves in order to evolve. To preserve, yet welcome change. To preserve, yet choose to change. It's a game of consciousness. Big surprise. It's aligned with the concept discussed in episode 39 as well, that you're not lost, you're conditioned. We need to check ourselves, perpetually asking, does this truly resonate with me? Or is this something I was taught to think or feel? Then we can consciously decide to preserve the parts of ourselves that feel true to us and ditch the stuff that doesn't. Now, manifesting is just grabbing life by the balls. I was telling my friend about one of my magic tricks, my miraculous manifestations, which I also see as priorities. She pointed out that I'm not passively asking the universe for things. I'm telling it what's going to happen. She's right, because self-friendship is all about taking responsibility and action, trusting in ourselves and the universe to each do our own individual part. Consider the phrase, grab life by the balls. Take action, take responsibility. Self-friendship. So, when are we asked to upgrade? Short answer, always. Long answer, when our standards are in question and when they are available to us. Again, always. When we are faced with the possibility of our standards not being met, the universe is asking us, are you willing to upgrade? As in, are you willing to commit to the standards that you've set for yourself? Are you going to respect yourself? Are you going to honor your boundaries? Or are you wavering on your self-clarity? As we choose to commit to our standards and embody composure when our standards are not met, we carry on gracefully, unfazed, willing to upgrade more efficiently. When our standards are met and they're not our original ideal, they're often better, yet there are still areas of the circumstance that are present to challenge us, to ask us, are you willing to upgrade? We're given enough that our standards are 100% satisfied, so we have proof of our magic, our ability to upgrade, a reflection of our ongoing presence and gratitude for the current moment, and any present challenges outside of the satisfied standards are our invitations to keep going, the willingness to upgrade. Okay, now a note on headphones. I wonder If the amount of earwax has increased in society since the popularity of headphones has uprisen, and more specifically, Bluetooth headphones. Just a wonder. Practice self-friendship. Remove the headphones once in a while. Let your ears breathe. Feel the wind blowing in your ears. And have a good time. Now, a tip to be an active listener. Before listening to someone talk, tell yourself about them, I believe you, no matter what. Then you're grounded in a place of openness and trust, a willingness to understand their perspective of their world, their planet, whatever it is they're sharing about it. It curves our natural inclination as the social creatures we are to relate to what someone is saying, as well as curving our judgment before it starts, which is listening. Again, I believe you. All right. Now, self-friendship article snippet. It's not easy, but it's fun. Fuck it. August 28th, 2024. From the Planit Butter publication. Self-friendship is saying fuck it on the heels of peak consciousness of our own desired evolution. Humans' greatest skill is learning. When we are simultaneously learning, honoring the 3 core methods of self-friendship, understanding that life is meant to be fun, and that at the core of our existence is an ever-expansive loving energy, which is our magic, in an ever-expansive universe, which humans can just barely begin to comprehend, and the only cognitive emotion we can apply to it beyond love is gratitude, then we can confidently say, fuck it, to anything and everything that does not align with our boundaries so we can fuel our confidence, the 2nd core method, and perpetually upgrade and remain in alignment, the 3rd core method, with becoming who we want to be. The 3 core methods: boundaries, confidence, alignment. It's not easy, but it's fun. Fuck it. Now a perspective dance with preferences. The other day, someone asked me my preference between 2 areas in Bali. I don't really enjoy the preference conversation with people. I like different places for different reasons. Some places I prefer for a shorter visit than others for reasons that undeniably relate to my relationship with myself and what the place reflects back to me. I also find myself existing in different places at different times in different circumstances. We all do. You just need to pay attention. I think it's more so about our relationship to ourselves and therefore the perception of the location we're in at the time of being there than it is a superficial preference. We create our own experiences. I've never been one for small talk. Okay. A perspective dance with social media. The way we can think about social media is looking at it as a resource that is social rather than a social place that has resources. When we put the emphasis on resources that happen to be social, our focus becomes on learning, on tools, and resources that we want to have in our skill set. Then the social aspect becomes a process of meeting and aligning with other people who also have our interests. Doesn't that sound way cooler? Another new affirmation. Look where you were. Look where you are. You know where you're going. Look where you were. Look where you are. You know where you're going. Now that affirmation works in various ways. Yeah. Theoretically, you're practicing self-friendship. So you're going up. You're upgrading. But if you're not in a place that you're super proud of, you also know where you're going, which is an invitation to practice self-friendship. Now a perspective dance with get the ball rolling. This is purely in good new fashion Planit Butter fun. Let's get Blissy whirling. And if you don't know yet, Blissy is Planit Butter's queen. She's the disco ball of self-reflection. The disco ball of self-reflection. Let me say that more clearly. Blissy is short for Blisserins, which means living in harmony with oneself. I made it up. Peep Blizzard's dictionary on the Planit Butter publication for more cool words I make up. And lastly, our question of the week: where were you hypnotized, and what is one way it influenced you? Email me your answers, selffriendshippodcast@gmail.com. All right. To be notified of new episodes and receive more playfully helpful content, sign up for Planit Butter publication. Sign up for the Planit Butter publication. The link is in the show notes. And the world's first coffee table book with a lesson, Party of One, Self-Friendship in Action, is where the world of Planit Butter comes to life, and Blissy, the disco ball of self-reflection, bops around, seeing friends and making new while having fun with herself or herself as herself. The hardcover is available internationally on planitbutter.com. Please continue to enjoy and review. It's super helpful. Thanks for landing on Planit Butter. I'll see you next Thursday. From my planet to yours, Blizzard.